And I want to talk about something personal with you, which is that you scanned your own brain.
This was purely serendipity, a weird thing. As I'm doing all these scans, we were doing a whole study on Alzheimer's, looking for the genetics of susceptibility to Alzheimer's separate, and we needed some extra scans. So because we had all the Alzheimer's patients done in the clinical trial, and so I got my family. So I got my brothers come in, and my wife, and kids, and myself, and the scans came back of this, and I looked through, because I've seen so many, you can tell if there's any overt thing. And I went to the technicians, very funny, because you slipped in, there's clearly somebody who shouldn't be walking around in open society, and who's a psychopath. They go, no, it's part of your family. So I had to peel back the name, because I do everything blindly. I peel it back, and it was my name on it. So.
Oh my gosh, I feel like this is sort of, you can see it cinematically. It's almost like a movie, right? Yeah, Dr. Travis, stay away.
No, but he's okay, because that's just one part of the puzzle, right?
Yeah.
Because since you were nurtured right as a kid and loved and...
It didn't make any sense, and still I really started getting into it over several years, and then ended up writing a book about this, the science and also the personal story. And I said something was missing. I should be a full-blown psychopath. And in fact, when I've been tested by psychiatrists or experts, they all said the same thing, which is here's somebody who has all the thoughts and urges of a full-blown psychopath, and he simply doesn't act anything out. I've been married forever. My wife and I have been dating since we were 12 years old.
Wow.
We're still
cute.
We got kids and grandkids, so I don't look like a psychopath. I've had the same job, and I look very stable, even though inside I'm...
You have us fooled.
And... Well, that's what people throughout my life have said. They said, people believe when you talk about things to people, you got to be careful. And that always happened in my life. But when I told my wife back in 2005, when all these scans were done, I said, a weirdest thing happened. I said, my scans look exactly like the worst psychopathic killers I've been studying. And she says, it doesn't surprise me.
Wow.
And I applaud you for talking openly about this, because many of us literally cannot even begin to fathom why someone would act on these impulses. And I think you being both a neuroscientist but acknowledging your personal story adds weight to it. And also sometimes it can be just maybe a little trigger in childhood that could have, potentially when you were a child, if something different had happened, you never know.
Very true.
We could be talking, if it's true that there's this anatomical difference, we could be talking about James Fallon, the famous serial murderer, and who went on the set of The Doctors. And no, but my point is,
Dr. Travis is really thinking something's going to happen today.
I tell you, it's a fascinating area of research, and I applaud you for what you're doing. I'd say keep it up. And
I can answer the one key question. After looking at the genes I have two genes that, if you're treated well when you're brought up, negate some of the other ones.
There you go.
And this affects the epigenetics. I grew up in a wonderful family, a bunch of smart matriarchs, aunts, my mother. My mother's still alive. She's over 100. So she'll see this, so I got to watch what I say.
That's another good gene.
And she says, I still believe
Good job,
you.
Mom.
It's certainly a fascinating topic, both scientifically and even your own personal story. Dr. Fallon, thanks so much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.